Hey guys, how's it going? Rubik's Master here, and I'm coming at you with another book review. Sorry, it's really all I've been doing recently is reading because my job has had me sitting in a truck, which is where I am right now, and I just finished the second book. I'm going to do two books in today's review, so y'all are going to get double trouble, whatever, bonus material, cool beans, and it'll also keep me on point and going through these books really, really quickly. The first book I want to talk about is Ahsoka. It's another Star Wars book, and I could honestly probably spend 15 whole minutes just talking about this book and how it bothers me so much. But let's just keep it to the facts at first. Ahsoka is a character that started in the TV series The Clone Wars, and this book picks up where that TV series left off and kind of fills in the gap between the Clone Wars and the Rebels TV series. And for what it is, it's okay. It reads pretty much exactly like an episode of the Clone Wars. So if you watch the TV series and you want to pick it up at the end, this is going to seem very familiar to you. Now, the weird things, the author, really it comes down to the author. And she did have a few limitations, one being that pretty much everything she's talking about in this book is not her brainchild, so she doesn't have a whole lot of creative freedom with it, really. But that's not really the problem. The problem is, well, let's start with, this is a book in the teen section at Barnes & Noble. I would put it in the young teen section, 13 to 14. It is 350 pages. If you can see text, there you go, double spaced. It took me 4 hours to read this book. To put that in perspective, the other book that I'm going to review is this one. It is much smaller, has the same amount of pages, even though it looks like it's more, same amount of pages, and this one took me twice as long to read. So I don't know what the deal is with this. It's fluffed up. It didn't need to be this big. But other problem with the author, and this is kind of getting a little political for you guys, but it just seemed a little bit social justice warrior-y to me. There's not a male character really in the book. Some of them are very passive. Really, most of the main male characters are painted in a very negative light. It's just three girls that are the main characters, which I don't really have a problem with if it's done right. It just didn't feel like it was done right. It felt like it was done just obligatorily, like, hey, this is how I want to do it, and it's just what she went with, and it just didn't feel right. Along with the not feeling right is totally random. It's not tied to character development, and it just kind of drew me out of the experience, and that's why I'm mentioning this. It's really only based on about 3 little areas of the book, but it's pretty obvious that one of the side main characters, not sure about the terminology for him, in this book has a lesbian crush on Ahsoka. And like I said, it just didn't fit. It didn't fit. It wasn't tied to character development. It didn't enhance the story. It's just something that, like, came up and went away, and then came up again a little later and went away. It was just in the book to be in the book. It didn't serve a purpose. And I would have the same issue if it was any other kind of romance. It just didn't serve a purpose. It just seemed like the author was throwing it in the book to be able to say, oh, I have this in my book. What do you have in your book? Nothing? I'm better than you. It is really what it boiled down to, what it felt like. It just didn't have a place, and it kind of took me out of the experience. So the bottom line of this book, to scoot right along, is that I'd give it a 5 out of 10. If you're into the Star Wars universe and you really want to continue on with the Clone Wars story, this book does carry that along. You will be able to get a lot out of it by reading it. But as far as the author and the actual reading of it goes, it's not a very good book. It's not a very well-written book. And it's $10, not worth $10. Get it on, I hate reading books on mobile devices, but this is one you should probably get on a mobile device just to save the money, because I'm telling you, I'm probably never going to read this again. So, on to something not Star Wars related. Extinction Horizon. Extinction is the series, Horizon is the name of the book. And this is a book from 2014. It is a zombie apocalypse book. And this one was really, really good. Like I said, the Star Wars book I read in 4 hours. This one took me about 8. And it is an adult book. I mean, yeah, that one's on a lower reading level. This one's on a little bit higher of a reading level. So it does take a little bit longer to process through the information. But, the basis of it is that, well, I'm not going to tell you anything that like you can't really find out just by looking at the cover. Is the basis of it is that a strain of Ebola comes out and it turns people into zombies. That's really it. You have to read it. It does develop a lot more than that. It's not that simple, but that's the basis for the book. And you're following 2 characters throughout the book. Well, primarily 2 characters. One is a Delta Force operator, Master Sergeant, and his crew, and the other is a CDC scientist. And I gotta say, it was really good. I can't really say a whole lot without giving away a bunch of stuff, but I can say that in 2014, the zombie franchises were really played out. So the fact that this one managed to grab my attention and keep me interested should say a lot. It is very, very good. The take on it was new, refreshing. The action plowed along really, really well. I was super interested in every single page of the book. It is a cycle. There are 6 more books after this one, and each book in paperback form costs $6. Well worth $6. Paying $6 for 8 hours of entertainment to read a book is pretty cheap as far as entertainment goes. The things I didn't like about it, well, the writing was sound. Like I said, it is a well-written, good book. The writing is sound. 2 things that I can say that I didn't like, because I always like to find things I don't like about anything, whatever. If you can't say anything bad about something, just praise. Like, things can always get better. The guy that wrote this book obviously has no experience with actual weapons, or if he does, he specifically decides to use misinformation just to try and sell a good story. For example, a full-grown adult is off the ground lunging towards you or towards the character, and the character shoots them with a 9mm pistol bullet, and it causes the lunging, fully grown human to fly backwards. That just doesn't make any sense. It kind of, anyone who has any real experience with firearms or tactical experience really at all is going to find a couple faults in it, but it doesn't stop it from being a good read. A couple other times it does get a little bit technical. Like, I get that the author tried to create an authentic experience, and he did a good job of creating that authentic experience. But sometimes it just gets a little too nerdy. Like, I actually had to Google what a few terms meant about, like, how viruses work in a body. That's cool and all, but seems a little extreme. Probably could have said it in simpler terms so I didn't have to whip out the Google machine while I was reading. But maybe that's just a me problem. So I'm definitely going to be getting the other 6 books in the series. Probably not going to be reviewing them all. I may review the series as a whole at some point. But really, it's just an amazing book. You definitely should pick it up. The Extinction Cycle by Nicholas Sansbury Smith. This, honestly, it's in its 2nd edition right now. If this book really, really kicks off, I could see this being the type of book to be made into a movie. It would be a movie along the lines of Doom or Resident Evil, but it would be a pretty cool action movie along those lines. As a single book, this actually tied up really well. Honestly, if the book hadn't done well, he could have just left it off and it would still be worth reading by itself without all the others. But I'm really looking forward to reading the other ones to see how the entire event progresses. It's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and you readers out there, this one, get this one. Only get this one if you really have to know the story. But yeah, until next time, y'all have an awesome day.